Welcome back, you guys. My name is Emily Gear. I'm a multidimensional channel and a transformative energy healer. I'm doing your twin flame, i.e. divine complement, i.e. sacred union, i.e. soul connections reading. So sorry I did not get to do one last week. There will be an extended reading to this one, so look for that link in the description box below. Before we get started, briefly, here's my website where you can find the link. Where you can find the links to schedule one-on-one sessions with me, either for energy healing or for readings. And also you'll find a few offerings by email on this website as well. So definitely check that out. I appreciate all of you who have scheduled with me or purchased a reading recently or even in the past. Thank you so much for your confidence in me and for supporting me in that way. So we're going to get moving on our usual reading. I'm doing a marathon of readings today, so you'll note I am dressed the same in all of my recordings this week because I'm doing them all in a row. Just grabbing my notes because I'm unprepared. All right, kids. So we're going to start with the chakra healing deck. What's it called? Chakra Wisdom Tarot, which I just got. It's not a new deck, but I just got it myself. So we're going to go ahead and get started with that, looking at the overall energies of the twins at this time. This reading is valid roughly for the next 7 days whenever you see it. It's recorded just after the full moon in Scorpio in March of 2020, but it is valid for whenever you find it. Okay, so just asking source, what is the overall energy affecting the twins at this time? Oh my God, I look crazy. Oh well. What is the overall energy affecting the twins at this time, or the partners, however you prefer to refer to them? The overall energy, please, affecting the twins or the partners at this time. Do check out my general reading as well for the collective. That almost always intersects. 10 of Cups in reverse. That one came up in the general reading. Let's see what else. In this deck, it's a solar plexus card. Queen of Coins and Queen of Cups coming up together. Yeah, so there is this general understanding and recognition that I am getting that there is this sense that we create our own realities and that we can often be our own saboteurs, right? I talk about that in the general read as well. But in this case, that it's directly related to our own self-worth and our ability to really deeply connect to the veracity of our emotions. They're saying, like, the truth of our emotions, right? Because sometimes we think maybe we think our way around something, or we're not really honest about what we're actually feeling inside. So here's one that is right side up inside the middle of this. 3 of Coins, that also came up in the general read. I have to turn my phone upside down, or I keep trying to look at notifications for work. It's obnoxious and I need to focus. So I do feel like, again, with the 3 of Coins having come up also in the general reading, I do feel like there's this general leveling up here, which is surrounding your ability to see where you've blocked yourself by not giving yourself the love and compassion you deserve, maybe not valuing yourself, maybe thinking that you do not deserve love and compassion. You might not be conscious. I feel like most of you are not consciously being like, oh, I don't deserve love. But how many of us on a deep, deep unconscious level expect things to fail, expect that we are not going to receive the love that we desire, expect that, or have learned that through our, some situation, through our childhoods, that on some level we don't deserve love. I mean, most people at some time have experienced something like that. Now, does it stick into your adulthood? it just depends on how profound an experience it was for you. So I feel like, these are coming up as queens here, and I really associate queens with our ability to create, right? The mastery of the feminine energy is surrounding creation and receptivity. So there is a gentle nurturing energy about this, that this is what is needed in order to, I don't know if I showed you any of these cards. Here's the Three of Pentacles. This is what is needed in order to kind of take this next step. For the twins. All right. So this is directly related to the mirroring energies within a twin dynamic. So here's your 10 of Cups in reverse. Here is your Queen of Cups and Queen of Pentacles. Now, this 10 of Cups and this, or I'm sorry, this, yes, 10 of Cups and the 3 of Coins, they're both related back to, in this deck, related back to the solar plexus chakra, which makes some sense because I do feel, granted, I don't know what the book says, I haven't read the whole book, but just intuitively speaking, I do feel this sense of empowerment that comes through this building of the cathedral, this building of the spiritual awareness, this building and cooperative building of the spiritual awareness, the cooperation, not only being with the collective, but with the counterpart, right? And that, the 10 of Cups being the epitome of our enabling our own fulfillment. With it being in reverse, it feels like a disempowerment and a sabotage of that fulfillment. Now, the Queen and Queens are showing up in indigo, which relate them to the 6th chakra. And what I'm feeling there, I'm trying to understand why they're, that's relating them to the 6th chakra. So I guess what I'm feeling there is almost an expanded perception, which becomes possible through, they're showing me like nurturance, basically. And normally I would, well, both of these could apply to nurturance. There's an expanded perception that is possible. And it's that creative energy too, because if you think about the way that art is created, whether it's visual art or poetry or whatever, to me, that is almost a channeling of a higher dimensional energy. It's an expanded consciousness, an expanded sight on some level. And so that makes some sense since we're associating queens with creation and our power to create, then that this is actually an expanded sight on some level. And that the insight comes from being able to connect, the insight in this instance comes from being able to connect into the sense of self-worth and the sense of self-nurturance and making that a priority. Creating through the vision of the heart is what they just said. The feelings, the vision of the heart. Being so in touch with the truth of the feelings that you begin to create. Even if that feeling is painful, when you are, again, this goes back to the general reading, when you are bringing light to that, you're bringing healing to it, okay? All right. Actually, I'm feeling like let's get one more set of cards for this energy of the twins. Okay, Chariot in reverse, which is actually a 1st chakra card in this deck. 6 of Coins, upright. Okay. So this kind of, there's a balance that's required in order to be able to move forward. That is the simplest way that I can read these cards. Sometimes I avoid reading the simple and try to dig deeper, but that wants to come out first. And And I think there's a message in that, actually, that we're overlooking some of the very simple things. There are energies that we as individuals are holding on to day in and day out that we're so used to that we perceive them as part of ourselves, but they are not. Okay, so they may be energies or beliefs that cause us pain, cause us disharmony. Excuse me, God, choking on my words. Cause us fear, cause us anxiety, cause us disbelief. All of these things that we've got them inside our energy field, inside our physical body. This is creating the blockage that is not allowing us to move forward. And so they're there in our obvious space, and it's about giving yourself the time, carving out the time of the day to interface with these feelings. Again, giving yourself the compassion and the time of day, essentially, to be able to bring light to this. It's very simple. It does not need to be more complicated than that. And this creates a kind of light. This is all about giving. It's all about balance, but it's also about giving. And I think that there is an imbalance in giving for many of us, and that we are not always as giving to ourselves as we would be to others. This is almost a misdirection of energy, is another thing I'm getting from this Chariot in reverse. That well-directed energy, well-pointed energy, one that is supportive of movement and growth would be the Chariot upright. But when we are not supporting ourselves, when we're not bringing ourselves into balance, we are not giving to ourselves as we are giving to others, that we are in this energy of stagnancy and instability in the most stabilizing chakra, the root chakra. It's almost like taking the legs out from under a table. It can't stand. It just can't stand at that point. It cannot move forward. How can you move forward if you yourself are not supported? So I think that may be, we always get to it eventually. I think that may be one of the most important messages here, to make sure that you are taking the time, and that twins right now are discovering how to take the time to support the self in order to, that being an important end, a means to an end. What? That being an important thing in itself, okay? I don't even know what I was trying to say. But also it being a means to helping to support others as well, okay? All right. So let's move on to the individual energies here. So we're going to start with how is the Divine Masculine feeling? And for the Divine Masculine today, we are using the... what's it called? Wild Unknown Tarot. That's what it's called. I just looked at the Fool card also, so there may be something brand new starting up for the Divine Masculine. Okay. Two of Cups in reverse came out. All right. How is the Divine Masculine feeling? How is the Divine Masculine feeling? Too many cards. Just way too many cards. Let's keep going. How is the Divine Masculine feeling? Seven of Pentacles. I'm getting some feelings right now, but I'm just going to wait and see what comes out so that I can focus here. Four of Cups in reverse. How is the Divine Masculine feeling? Father or Mother of Pentacles, there's the Queen of Pentacles again. the Ten of Cups in reverse. I think I'm feeling, I am feeling a little bit of a sense of rejection happening there. It could come from anywhere. It could come from, an existing relationship or partnership that they have going on in their lives. It could come from a parent. It could come from the divine feminine. I feel like there is this sense of not knowing what's expected of them. I forgot to show you all these cards too. Two of Cups with the Seven of Pentacles. Four of Cups in reverse with the Mother of Pentacles, the Queen of Pentacles, and the Ten of Cups in reverse. So, a sense of frustration about what is indeed expected of them. I think that there is the sense of what they have learned is appropriate, is right for them in whatever role they are. I feel like a lot of them that we may be talking about may be fathers, maybe husbands, maybe supporting in some way. So maybe they're, leaders at work. I feel like these are not individuals who have no obligations. These are people who generally have some kind of obligation. And there is this imbalance between following the heart and honoring the expected obligation. It kind of comes down to that. So I think there are choices that they're making because they are not always sure which is right. Okay, is this all an illusion? Is this all a bunch of shit that they've come up with and their feelings are not real, or or are they stuck in obligations that are not serving them and are, maybe not honoring who they are? So I think figuring out what that is for each one of them can be very challenging. So we're obviously talking, we could be talking about people who are in separation or who are together. This is just going to apply to those who are together in a different way that it applies to those who are in separation. But I am feeling this energy of maybe a little bit of confusion about what is actually accurate, what is actually happening. I do feel like they are aware of a sense of discontent. They are feeling some discontent, and they really do want to come to a place where they feel like they're honoring themselves. In the past, I would have felt like they were more than willing to sacrifice their own happiness for what they thought was the right thing. Okay. I don't feel that in the past there's been a huge connection necessarily always to the heart, that gets sacrificed in many cases for the connection to the practical, the physical. Sorry, my dogs, they just pace sometimes when I'm recording. I think they respond to the excitement in my voice and they're like, what's happening? Anyway, apologize for all the toenail sounds. I feel like there is a recognition of the things that aren't working at this point. Okay, well, this really doesn't feel very good. And then the question becomes, is it because I need to abandon it, or is it because I need to fix it? And I'm hearing the sense only time will tell. So I think for many of them, they're not quite ready to really make profound changes, but this is about feeling truly into the feelings and, what did I say before? The veracity of the feeling. So it's about the truth of the feeling, understanding what the feeling really is, and seeing beneath the fear, because the initial feeling might be fear, oh my God, something needs to change. Oh my God. But once you get past that, there's a real feeling there. And it may be rejection. It may be discontentment. It may be a true unconditional love of self, which, they maybe have not given the time of day before. This may have been pushed aside in favor of the practical. So in all of that, there is a sense of empowerment toward, much like the cards for the twins as a whole, there is a little bit of empowerment toward self-fulfillment, okay? Bringing the self into balance, feeding the self in order to strengthen the self. But we're not there yet, quite. Okay? That's what I'm getting for the feeling. Next question is, how is the divine feminine feeling this week? And so I'm going to use the Zerner Farber deck. This is like a weird little mini version of the Zerner Farber deck. If any of you come in contact with the one it's a little longer and thin, it's like taller. I think that one's the original. That was my first deck, and I would like to get another copy of it because my first deck has gone missing, so to speak. Anyway, all right. So, what is the divine feminine feeling this week? Goodness, we've got 6 of Wands and Judgment already popping out. 6 of Wands and Judgment. What else? What is the divine feminine feeling this week? Too many cards, guys. Stop doing that, please. And the Moon. What is the divine feminine feeling this week? 2 of Swords in reverse. Here's the Moon and the 2 of Swords in reverse. Bottom of this wad here is the 10 of Pentacles. Not going to take it, but I'm just putting it out there since we started with the 10 of Pentacles in reverse. Drink of water. All right. So I do feel this sense of I almost want to say joy in some of the discomfort, because I think there's this feeling of things changing. I think it's this intuitive feeling of that things are changing. I think it's like this ability to kind of see down the tunnel into the light. I keep focusing on this card with this hand that looks like, so you see the angel sort of blowing the trumpet, and then these hands reaching up, which is traditionally out of like the graves. It's like the dead rising at Judgment Day, right? But this feels to me like hands reaching up out of water. Like maybe you have been in a state of emotional, like drowning in your emotions or drowning in sort of water energy. And so a lot of things may have been obscured for you, but things are beginning to appear. Six of Wands and 2 of Swords in reverse. Things are beginning to appear with some movement and some clarity for you. It's beginning to feel like you may be able to overcome whatever it is that you've been feeling. Now, I feel like for a lot of people, we've gone deep into our emotions. Particularly for the feminines, obviously the masculine energy is capable of going that deep into his emotions, and he clearly is, but he seems to be operating still more on the level of the pentacle, of the physical plane, looking at his worth, okay? Now, there's nothing wrong with that. In fact, it feels very appropriate right now. She may have been very deep in her emotions, and I honestly feel like this is coming from all dimensions and all angles. I don't feel like this is necessarily about him. It could be, but it's, you know, everyone around her. It's her job. It's her children. It's how she interacts with her parents. It's like the way she may feel inadequate at work, or, you know, any of those things. And there has been sort of an awakening surrounding the feelings that she is carrying. I'm speaking of this for whatever reason in the past tense, so that might resonate with you. This also might be relevant for the coming week. So just take it as it works for you. But I do feel like this is a really important cycle to have gone through. The moon showing up here, much like in the general reading, could absolutely relate to the Scorpio full moon, which took place literally yesterday. And I do feel like there's a depth there that was plumbed because of the 8th house, Scorpio, relating back to the unconscious mind, or the subconscious mind. Pisces being the unconscious mind. But you see this moon is crying tears of joy almost. Like he looks pretty happy. He's got the tear there. I do feel this sense of like, I just heard rapture. So that's not my usual talk. So in some way you may have felt like you really went through it, and now there's some kind of joy and release is kind of what I'm feeling. Because what is rapture other than complete release from the physical plane? That's like when Jesus comes and collects up all the good people or whatever, all the born again. Sorry, I'm not even going to go there. Stop, Emily, stop. So some kind of rapture is kind of what I'm getting, the feeling, which is a victory in itself, okay? That awakening energy is a victory in itself. So she may have gone through some kind of new awakening, seeing things through a new set of eyes, which is allowing her to break through the stagnancy which has been going on. This also indicates some more movement in her life just energetically. So there's a lot of things opening up, from things in the external, like different businesses starting to open up again, to our social structures opening up, our social lives, our social calendars opening up again, because we are able to do that. But now we're being, if you, again, watch the general reading, but also there's, an opening up of how we're showing up in the world at this time, that we may have had to come face to face with how we were, and now we are getting more aligned into a more aligned space, and then we are opening ourselves up from that perspective, from a more true, a more honest, what is the word I'm looking for? True, honest, whatever, true or honest perspective, okay? So things breaking open. I also feel like this is from the emotional perspective as well, becoming very honest about one's emotions at this time and what they are. I think we just sort of talked about that a little bit, even for the masculine, and I think it's valid for the feminine too. All right, next question. What does the divine masculine need to work on? So let's get these cards. What does the divine masculine need to work on, please? Father of Pentacles in reverse. Father of Wands. Okay. Then we have the Four of Swords in reverse, the Eight of Cups, and the Fool. So here's the Father of Pentacles and the Father of Wands. Why can't I do this? Four of Swords in reverse, Eight of Cups, the Fool. Immediately I'm feeling he kind of has to get over this sense of I can't do it. I just can't make that change. I can't give that up. I can't move that block. I can't open that door. I can't open that can of worms. That's what, that's what's kind of keeping him in the dark. It's what's keeping him from moving forward. It's what's keeping him disempowered. Because what we want to see is him empowering himself here by allowing himself just the possibility that he could overcome. This is like that I can't. I am not capable. I can't. And this is that empowerment. And I feel like we need to really allow the possibility. I just heard you need to break some glasses. So what is that saying? There's like, you need to break some eggs or something in order to make an omelet. That's what it is. It's the same energy. Meanwhile, the chick is right here. So there's some kind of egg energy coming, or egg motif coming through here. I'm even actually getting like a spring Easter kind of, and I know we're past Easter, but I'm getting this Easter motif because we have this lamb here with the sort of third eye illuminated. And what I actually feel is that it's blocked because he's not breaking the eggs to make the omelet. So what he needs to work on essentially is summed up in the Fool: the willingness to take the risk, the willingness to empower himself and to give himself the possibility. Just that's as far as you need to go right now, is what I'm hearing. All you need to do right now is to say, this is possible. I can do this. I could do this. You don't need to know what the steps are. You don't need to take the steps. You just need to be open to the possibility. And that begins to make things move. That starts to move the rusty gears. And the truth is, some eggs may break. You've got some things in your life that are not working, from as big as relationships to as small as, I don't know, just, and this is not really small. I don't know why I called it small, but like a mindset, you know what I mean? The mindset may be the biggest thing because that is what's influencing everything that you're doing. So it could be a habit, it could be a relationship, it could be a job, all of that stuff. Some of those things are eggs that you may need to break in order, again, to make the omelet, to be able to take that step forward, to take that leap of faith, to take that risk. Because in the risk is this empowerment. If you do not, you remain in this dark place, this place of stagnancy, of unenlightenment. That this is like enlightenment happening here. This is that unenlightenment, or lack of it. You remain in the I am not capable, I am stuck. And therefore, everything that you have come to this planet to do is in some way hindered because you are powerful. You are capable. It's we that decide what we're willing to be capable of, essentially, what we accept. And you need to, I hate saying you need to because nobody hears that. That like turns people's ears off immediately. But what I want to say is accepting your own power is an important step right now. That is what he or you need to work on. Okay. Divine Feminines. What does the Divine Feminine need to work on? What does the Divine Feminine need to work on? Seven of Swords. Does the Divine Feminine need to work on? Ten of Wands in reverse is flipped over in the deck. What does the Divine Feminine need to work on? King of Wands. So both of you have gotten the King of Wands. I am hearing something about the illusion of control. Actually, it was the first two cards, and then the King of Wands popped out as I was hearing that. Queen of Pentacles in reverse. So we've got quite a few. This is the third time the Queen of Pentacles has come out in this reading. All right. Seven of Swords with the Ten of Wands in reverse. King of Wands with the Queen of Pentacles in reverse. Don't remember what I just said a minute ago, but what I'm feeling right now is there's a little bit of self-denial. And actually, this is very much echoed in the energy, of what the divine masculine is feeling now and is overcoming. So he's overcoming this. This is something the feminine needs to work on. It also came out in the joint section of what the twins are both experiencing now, with that Six of Pentacles energy, that needing to balance. So we need to get out of this state of denying the self, of only, I want to say, investing in others because we think that's the right thing. Now this is very confusing to me because, of course, I'm here on a number of levels. I'm bringing the channeling to you through me, but there's also the human me that's like hanging out inside me somewhere, experiencing this reading for herself. And I'm like going through something right now where I am trying to weigh what my responsibility is as a leader to those that I lead, and where my boundaries that I want to have are appropriate and where I'm expected to do more. And it seems that I know that my boundaries have been very flexible in the past, and this is not necessarily a positive thing. And it seems that there is this expectation of those in leadership that they be willing to constantly sacrifice to those for those they lead. And I think that is accurate sometimes. But there is also this sense of like needing to see yourself as a human also, and not martyring yourself for any cause. Even if that cause is like the people that you're leading, the group you're leading, whatever. Like, martyrdom is related to the age of Pisces. It's related to the old order. It's not where we are now. We're in a time of empowerment of the self. So this is really interesting. So this is all coming through me as the, not through me as the human. I guess it is technically through me as the human. My mouth is talking. It's coming through me as the human. This is me relating to my personal situation. So you might be having a different situation, but there's some denial of the self that needs to stop happening, okay? Whether that's you denying your own feelings, maybe putting yourself aside for others. It is not wrong to sometimes sacrifice for others, but this cannot be the only mode of operation. Does that make sense to you guys? Yeah, I feel like there's almost a willing denial of fulfilling one's personal needs at times, that this creates a huge burden which is not able to be carried. You cannot carry the burdens of everyone. On the flip side, sometimes in the process of healing that, there is a dumping of all the burdens, and then there's it's almost a swinging to the other side, not accepting responsibility when you should accept responsibility. So be aware of that as well. This is not like a carte blanche to just like dump all your responsibility. But this is really about, with that Six of Pentacles, this is really about that balance, about being able to fulfill the self, to nurture the self, so that one can nurture others. You need to do one to be able to do the other. If you are only doing one or the other, there is something that is not, there is some part of the picture, some part of the cycle that is not being fulfilled. Empowering the self comes first, but it's I'm almost getting this feeling that the full expression of self-empowerment is when we then almost multiply, almost create, replicate ourselves by inspiring others, by empowering others. Okay, so these things are intimately linked, and you have to have you almost feel like you have to have the one before the other, but then you need the both. I'm sure there is a better way to say that. They're telling me right now it doesn't matter how I say that exactly, that there's some vibration coming through, so that you should hopefully understand what I mean and receive that that vibration, that it has an intelligence to it, and so I don't need to worry about every word that I choose, but I still do. Anyway, okay. So that's what the feminine needs to work on right now. So finally, I want to wrap this up with a message. Let's do a journey of love message for each person. I'll put these cards out in this book. Oh, yes, I will be reading from the book. Sorry for those of you who find that annoying. Take some more water. All right. This is going to be the message for the masculine from the feminine. And source. We're going to make it both because some of these really come through stronger from source. Is this the right one? Yes. Okay. It's called the breaking. So we'll find out what that means here. So this is to the masculine from the feminine and from source. Number 65, which equals 11. The breaking. You are breaking apart. You might not understand it all. There is so much to be understood, but the simplicity doesn't mean that it's easy to endure. You may worry that you are going too far, that you may not recover or ever come back together again. But what can you do? Can you hold back from the divine love that calls you, that lures you to becoming all that you are, to remembering your divine nature? Well, you could try, but for what purpose? Temporary rest before the storm at best. So take the rest if you need it, then dive into the storm. Let yourself be brokenhearted by the divine so that you can become your truth, become all that you're meant to be. It's better to have the heart broken so that it grows than to be brokenhearted by thinking that you must protect yourself from love. This is so everything that we were talking about. This oracle brings compassionate guidance that no matter what sadness or anger or despair or frustration you may feel, you are being pulled apart, not by dark forces, but by the loving embrace of the divine as it strips you of that which would keep you from your divine realization. Let go and break. It's going to be the making of you. Love. Love is a special closeness that sings from the heart, that warms my days and nights, that feels good, that makes me smile, that makes me glad to be alive. So this makes some sense. I feel like, there's a realization of these things, but there's that fear of, remember I was saying like, I can't possibly, or I'm not capable, but being open to the possibility that you are able to do this, that you can break some eggs to make the omelet, right? Okay. Okay, now this is for the divine feminine from the masculine and from source. For the divine feminine, please. Message for the divine feminine from the masculine and from source. I had to release that there for some reason. Too many. There was like 5 there. I need 1, please. Message to the feminine from the masculine and from source. this one? Is it this one? It might be this one. Shakti. Okay. Well, we're going to go with it. Number 19, Shakti. Shakti is divine feminine fire. She is the body awakened with light. She is the divine feminine, and she is the Kundalini, the energetic force that moves through us, triggered by love that leads to enlightenment of our body. With our Kundalini coming alive within us, we cannot remain as we once were. It's impossible. We may try to lead the same lives, or be the same in our relationship patterns, and perhaps even behave properly, but it simply cannot be done. Soon our disguise slips and people wonder what happened to her or what's gotten into him. We are on fire with the divine, and we cannot help but misbehave. We are no longer satisfied with trying to be the good child or fearing we are the bad child. We know ourselves instead to be the divine child. That child divine lives fully and with passionate fire, not doing the things the way they are supposed to be done perhaps, but living instead from the heart. Our body may ache as we burn through old pain, but sometimes the light within may seem so bright it blinds us for a moment. But that will pass, and the misbehaving will suddenly be seen for what it is. You know what? Didn't I say something about holy rapture? Like, I feel like this is that feeling. The old rules just don't fit anymore. You don't plug a globe capable of illuminating the whole world into the bedside reading lamp without burning down the house. Best to let that light shine as it were meant to in the big arena. Shakti is making your light grow, beloved. We prepare to shine brighter. This oracle brings you a message. You are going through energetic shifts in your subtle anatomy. Because your energy body and physical body have already begun to merge with each other, the energetic shifts will affect your physical body too. It's always wise to consult a healthcare practitioner, but at least some of your physical challenges at the moment, from aches and pains to tiredness, are due to this energetic awakening. Take responsible action as you feel is necessary, such as tending to your physical well-being and healthcare that feels supportive, but also remember to rest, get some time in nature, and nurture your body as it's spiritually awakening into greater light. I have watched you hurting and felt helpless to make life better for you. Loving you is having to make choices to let you be who you are, who you become, and all the who's yet to come. To love you is to ride the waves of your passionate embrace of life, ever mindful of the change in the wind and the occasional tempest brewing. Loving you is having to make choices, knowing it isn't my fault. I can still choose to take it personally or just be while I listen and watch you unfold. Your heart is a beauty I will always love. It is the part of you that hasn't changed much over time. When I lie beside you and hear you breathe, when I touch your skin or caress your hair, you are timeless, and I choose loving you. I almost want to say, too, that last little bit is really for ourselves, to ourselves, and I choose loving you. So I feel like these are some really powerful messages this week about awakening and about changes and about being willing and being open, being empowered. So go forward in this week, just keeping those things in mind, and definitely check out the extended reading. We'll answer some more questions. I'll have those listed below as well. The link below will take you to the extended twin flame reading, and I hope to see you there. Thank you so much. Once again, here is my website if you would like to book a personal reading. Thank you so much, guys. Talk to you soon.